Music's still playing, but it's all good. Hey, how's everybody doing? It's Bren here. Sorry, the music was still playing right now, my thing kind of threw me off. But hope everybody's having an amazing day. It is Tuesday, January 6th. It is 1 p.m. here where I'm at in Southern California. Hope everybody is having a great day. And let me just read something here. Hope everybody's having an amazing day and had a good weekend. Again, ETH, Bitcoin, Sol, like I have titled in the stream, Bitcoin specifically, is approaching or actually hit yesterday a very, very important decision point in the market, which is a multi-month, 2-month high, consolidation high. These multi-month highs act as big decision points in the market. So we're going to talk about today whether I think it's going to whether we think it's going to power through and finally surpass that 94K level, which again, historically, every time Bitcoin is broken above these consolidation high, multi-month consolidation highs, it's gone on to all-time highs. 4 out of the last four times in this bull market. Now we're going to talk about whether that's likely to continue, or even if we break here, what scenarios would actually validate maybe a bear market, which I don't think is going to happen. If you've been on the tweets, the streams, you know that I'm very very confident, or my base case is that all of the different things outside of the charts, the regulatory clarity stuff, which is happening right now with the clarity bill just about to be brought to the Senate, I think, and then institutional stuff, macro, risk assets, the stock market at all-time highs. I think it's very likely that into 2026 that we're going to push higher and kind of shock the world. We're already seeing, like I said in the title, momentum already start to shift from super bearish just 2 weeks ago to like almost most people being very optimistic just in this small move here. But I think that's going to accelerate quick once we break above that 94K level. Before we get into that as well, NFTs have seen a big momentum shift the past few weeks. A lot of attention around them, a lot of kind of renewed optimism around projects like VFriends, Good Vibes Club, Quirkies, some of these projects that are still pushing and still forming good communities. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I do think, I think we have a long way to go, but I think there are signs that we could get a big resurgence for NFTs in 2026. But and then I'm going to talk about some high cap, low cap, mid cap coins and setups that I think are best set up for this next leg up. It could potentially produce some nice moves. But before we can continue, before we do that, if you guys could please like, comment, retweet, share the stream, be much appreciated. And then also let me know 2 things in the chat. 1, where you're tuning in from, what country you're in. Always like to see that. And then 2, whether this is your first time in the stream or your return. So write your country and then say first time or returning. Let me go into the chat really quick. We got a few homies in here. What's up, Affinity? How you doing? Toozer, how you doing, brother? That's Samus. Appreciate the streams. Appreciate you, bro. So yeah, before we get started, if you guys could like, comment, retweet, share, and then if you have any comments, questions, chart requests, any of that good stuff, I will be looking at the chat throughout. You're in Spain right now. I think somebody was telling me they were in Spain in the chat last week. Yesterday, though, guys, I did have a stream. As you guys know, I do streams Tuesdays and Fridays primarily. But had a cool stream yesterday with my buddy Jaden. We talked about a lot of crypto NFTs. I like to get his view on a lot of the NFT stuff, but you can definitely check that out. But yeah, for those of you guys that are said it's your first time, we do these streams every Tuesdays and Fridays. Every Tuesday and Friday. Talk a lot about crypto. I do a lot of obviously chart analysis because that's kind of where what I like to do a lot of. But we talk about everything in crypto. NFTs as well. I'm a the last few years have been a pretty big NFT collector and a big believer that NFTs as a technology and eventually like an asset class, I think has a big future. The last year we've together caught a lot of the big plays of the last year. 2025 overall was a down year for crypto, but together in the streams, days and weeks ahead of time, I brought up and we talked about setups like on USDUC, which is probably like a 10 or 15x from the stream. Pump Fun, which did a 6 or 7x from when we were talking about it. Pengu at 8 or 9x from when we were talking about it. Sorry guys, my window's open. Wow. I need to shut that. Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize, but Pengu we caught like an 8 or 9x on. Um, White Whale, obviously, probably the biggest one recently, 25x on that we caught. And again, these aren't like we talked about in that day. It's like days and weeks ahead of time. We were able to catch it together. So I appreciate everybody who's been hanging out with me, spending your time with me on these streams. This year, I'm putting a big emphasis on having cool guests on. A lot of my friends, a lot of people I respect in the space, just in crypto, NFTs. Have some cool guests lined up for Friday, which I was talking a bit about, I think, last stream. Look out my buddy FFV, who I've gotten to know a bit lately. I'm going to have him on Friday. He's been doing some good streaming himself, playing other side and some other good stuff. Him and I agree on a lot of stuff, but we have some stuff um, that have a little bit of differing opinions, like on meme coins and other stuff too. So it'll be a great conversation. He's become a good friend of mine. Appreciate this guy, but let's see. But yeah, FFE, look out for that on Friday at 11 a.m. PST. But let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and retweet the stream as well. Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started with Bitcoin. Again, a big decision point in the market here for Bitcoin. Historically, these multi-week, I'm sorry. Okay. So this is a big decision point for Bitcoin. All right. So historically, these multi-month highs are big decision points. Again, that when we come up on them, it really even decides whether we're going to go back down one more time, or like I showed you a second ago, every time we've broken above these consolidations, Bitcoin has sent back to all-time highs. As you can see here in April, same thing happened in October 24. Same thing here back in September of 2023. And I think the same thing very likely happens here this time. I think right now what a lot of people are expecting is for Bitcoin to come up here and then peter out, come down one more time to form, a confirmed kind of bear market. I think the opposite's going to happen. I think all the regulatory stuff, institutional stuff, macro stuff, risk assets, the stock market, the S&P 500, breaking to new all-time highs again today. I think all these combination of things is actually going to lead to Bitcoin not stopping here, but powering through and going to all-time highs to end the year. Or I'm sorry, to end, maybe not end Q1, but sometime in Q1. So with that, what we're really looking for, guys, is Bitcoin to break above this 94K high. I think what's going to happen very likely is what I have drawn out here. I think Bitcoin's going to chop sideways a little bit, maybe come back down a little bit. Bottom could be in as well. But I think as we hold above here for several more hours, I think Bitcoin's likely going to power through to 94K and finally break through that level and see acceptance above that 94K level. At that point, I think we accelerate quickly, just like we saw in April, just like we saw in those other corrections. And I think Bitcoin gets above 100K quickly. Now, if we go to the daily chart, really the final confirmation on the higher time frames that Bitcoin is in and confirming that kind of bull market continuation is how it reacts at this 200 moving average. If we go back to the 2022 bear market, essentially Bitcoin came down, bounced back to this 200 moving average, failed to break above it, and then came back down another 60 to 70%. Now, Bitcoin, that's kind of the last confirmation, right? If it can clear this 200 moving average, just like it did here in April, just like it did in October, I think that's kind of the final confirmation that a lot of chart people are kind of looking at. Now, again, I don't think it's really gonna matter. I think we are just gonna power right through this 200 moving average based on all this other stuff that's going on. Um, but let me know in the chat. What do you guys think? What's your thinking on all this? Obviously there's a chance that Bitcoin hesitates here, kind of like it did here for 8 or 9 days, early December, and then come down one more time, like just to play devil's advocate. This is what I would be looking for Bitcoin to go down is if it were to consolidate, hold around 93 for maybe 3, 4, 5 days, and then come down. That's always possible. I think that's a low probability at this point. Instead, what I think is going to happen is what I had shown here is that Bitcoin's going to either chop sideways or just power through this high right now, confirm the acceptance around 95K, and move higher. Okay, so ETH, same kind of thing. I think if Bitcoin breaks through 94, we're going to see ETH power right through 3,400, and I think ETH's going to be off to the races. I don't know if you guys remembered, if anybody was here from last stream, um, that I put out my long position entries, the entries, exits. Oh shit, entries. And by the way, people who are just coming in from the stream, I'm sorry, from the Telegram right now, what's good? Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Right now, I am sharing my screen and we are talking about Bitcoin and ETH and how very likely we're coming up on an important decision point level and how if Bitcoin is able to, wow, it is impulse and hard, guys. If it's able to break through this 94K level and see acceptance on the higher time frames, maybe a few daily candle closes, I think it's going to do exactly what we saw here in April, where it's going to power above that consolidation high and push all the way back, very likely to all-time highs, in my opinion. So, yeah, if you guys are tuning in, just coming in from the Telegram channel, again, let me know two things: what country you're tuning in from, and then two, let me know if this is your first time in the stream or returning. It's good to see everybody. What's up, Pug? How you doing? I don't know how this line erased on Bitcoin, but yeah. So it looks like Bitcoin might just break through right when we're on the stream here, guys, which would be cool. But ETH, same kind of thing. I don't know if you guys saw last stream. I put out my entries, take profits, all that good stuff on ETH. Where did it go? Here we are. Oh, how's this screens keep on sharing? Oh, is it sharing? You can see it, right? That's weird. Oh, that's why. Okay, cool. So put out this post about 4 days ago, talking about how last summer we were able to catch what was for me the greatest perp trade of my life. Catching an 1850 average entry for ETH, rode it all the way up to about 4,400, took about 80% off there. And I think ETH is right now presenting equally, if not more powerful setup. I gave you the entry, which is around 2920, stop loss, take profit 1, which I think is about to be hit here, guys, in the next few days. Damn, it's moving hard. Nice. That's good to see. But yeah, ETH, as you guys can see here, we're going to hit the take profit one. I think we're very likely going to hit all three of these take profits, at which point I will be about 50% out of my original position. And uh, at that point, I will have my stop loss well in profit. So at that point, you can't really lose. But guys, like I said, I think ETH could very likely power through all-time highs, which could take us up to 5,000. Which, this is the trade I essentially caught last year when we went from 18 to 45. This time, easily could go to 28 to 5,000 or higher. So I think this is a great opportunity for ETH. Obviously, leverage is a tough thing. I don't think you need, if you're going to trade leverage at all, don't use high leverage. Don't use any more than 10x, 7x to 10x. Give yourself some room. The way that I play leverage and way I've been able to survive, even stuff like 10-10, is I'm trying to catch these bigger swing positions. I'm not all in on these tiny moves. I'm giving myself room to catch these bigger swings. It takes patience, but it's a lot better quality of life when you're using leverage. Let me go to the chat here before I start. Bren, what do you think about the 88K CME? Yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about that right now too. Let me go ahead and share the Bitcoin chart, not my whole screen. What is up, Pug? I see you, brother. How you doing? Yo, what's up, my guy? You have thoughts on XCN coin? I can look at that for you in just a second, brother. Do me a favor, crypto, and in like 2 minutes from now, write that in the chat again so I don't forget. What are your thoughts on Render? I'm gonna write down those two names actually right now. We're gonna look at XCN and Render after when we're ready for some chats. But again, if you guys are just popping in right now, let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what country you're in, what region, whatever, and then let me know if this is your first time in the chat. Love to see the new people tuning in every week, but also like to see the homies that have been here for a minute. Yo, Brent, what USDUC is stagnating hard. What is up with it? Stagnating, consolidating is actually bullish on good coins. So I think USDUC, nothing to worry about there. I'm still very bullish. We can go ahead and pull that up too. Topper, what's up, bro? Render, yeah, I'll look at that for you. I think one more low and we'll send. Interesting. Waters, you think we go one more low under 81K? Olu Pino Tope, what's up, bro? LMAO, Bitcoin pumping as we speak. I know, let's fucking go. I should go on the lower time frame charts right here so we can watch. Oh yeah. What up, guys? What's good, Mario? How you doing? Bulls step in every possible dip. It cannot go down. Yeah, it does seem like none of the news, like Venezuelan news, none of that has affected the markets at all, except in a positive way for the most part. Damn, these messages so delayed. Damn, sorry to hear that, brother. Yeah, I was just ranting for a bit there. What are some of your good buys right now, or should we wait? No, that's a good question, man. Overall, I can go over some coins that I'm looking at, all right? But to answer your kind of second part of that question, I think generally somebody asked me that yesterday on the other stream, without even giving any coin names, which I will. Generally speaking, on the higher time frames during these corrective periods, like we're seeing now, like we saw in April, like we saw in 2024, these are periods generally where you want to be accumulating. These are the times you want to be buying. Essentially, you want to have dry powder on the sidelines so you can be buying during these times, but these are the times you want to be buying. Now, that's way easier said than done, right? Because most people during these times and the energy and the sentiment and the just what it feels like to be buying crypto assets during those periods it always feels bad, right? Like think about back to 2 weeks ago. If you would have told most people that or crypto in general and Bitcoin was going to be pumping and going, back towards 100K, they would have said that's not likely, let alone meme coins up like they are now. Most people are just all wrote them off, right? It feels like crap. I said this on a tweet a couple weeks ago. Like the reason why very few people actually end up making money in crypto is because the times that you should be buying, it feels like shit. And people are laughing at you and they're telling you, why are you buying crypto? This shit's it's gonna be a bear market this year. And then the times that you should be selling or taking profits or being a bit cautious, everybody's laughing at you for selling, telling you we're going up only, it's a super cycle, all that good stuff. And I think if you flip that on its head, again, it's easier said than done, and start buying during these times with the understanding that you could be weeks or months before the asset goes up, and you can sit with that and you can have conviction for days or weeks during that time. You're going to outperform everybody, right? The greatest investments that I ever made, I made a tweet earlier, greatest investments I ever made is buying shit when everybody was telling me I'm insane for buying it, or you're stupid, or why are you buying this shit's dead, whatever. So to answer your question, then what coins have I been buying? I'll go a little deeper in it on the show later on in the show. I kind of have a segment for it, but generally the segments that I've been buying is L1s, ETH, Sol, AVAX, stuff like that. But also two main categories as far as altcoins go that I've been buying a lot of, and that's movement coins, the SPX Gigas, MOGs, USDUCs, Trolls, ticker Bitcoins, um, and then the other side of that barbell is the revenue slash flywheel coins, the hyper liquids, pumps, Zora, Uniswap, Punkster. Somebody talked about Punkster. That falls in that flywheel for me too. Any of these, the Vibester, any of these flywheel. I'm sorry, token works coins attached to good NFTs. So really, to answer your question, movement coins and these flywheel revenue coins, I've been buying about 12. I think I don't know about 12. I have 12 total of those coins in those categories that I've been buying a lot of. So, obviously anything could happen. We could all obviously come down and then come back down for a bigger bear market. I don't think that's likely. But generally, to answer your question, I buy stuff during big corrections like this because historically, those have been the biggest gains I've ever had. Now, the second part of that is you want to be taking profits on the way up. Now, that's pretty much the best favor you can do for yourself right now this year is build yourself a profit-taking system. We'll talk more about that, though. I want to get through the chat. I'm just still waiting for these CME gaps to fill. Yeah, I mean, chances are they will. What do I think of Momo? I'm going to write that down so we can look at it in a second. Topper says, of course, in a positive note, because it's going to bring in more money for America with the oil reserves and oil companies. I assume you're talking, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, with Venezuela. But I 100% with your statement with leverage. The most I'll do is 20x. Damn, brother, that's 20x is a bit high, I think, but I mean, better than 50x, right? I guess. Nah, that's cool, bro. Just be smart. Give yourself some room. I think a lot of people. The thing is like the reason why most people, when they're trading leverage, they get gambling results. Like they're playing slot machines or something, is because they're betting on such small moves. They're using 20, 30, 50x leverage, and then if the market moves against them 3%, like their shit's fucked, right? And I don't know. I think that's just that's not really like investing or trading or like whatever. I think that's more so you're just kind of hoping and praying that the market doesn't go against you and it goes right into your favor quickly. What do you think about Wojak, brah, and Troll? I'm going to look at those right now. I'm writing that down. Wojak, Troll. Right now we have XCN, Render, Troll, Wojak. Let's see. Our ETH long is cooking. Shout out to my boy fucking Diamond Pug here. This is a homie right here. Everybody should go and follow him. He's going to be posting some good content. One of the smartest dudes I know. So stoked to see that. Everybody shoot him a follow. Diamondpug.eth. Diamond Pug ETH. What do you think of Momo? First, I'll look at that in a second. What's good, Ms. D? How you doing? What about AI coins? That's a good question, man. AI coins, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are vibe coding and stuff. I could see a wave of the new AI stuff coming back. I don't know which ones are going to bounce back. I have not been buying any AI coins. I've been focusing on my barbell, which is the movement coins and the revenue coins. But, I think the AI stuff could really make a big comeback. BMC Corey looks good. Appreciate you for being here. Protect. Shout out to all the homies from the Telegram channel. If you haven't already, by the way, I want to take this quick opportunity to reset the stream. If you guys could like, comment, retweet, share, all that good stuff, as well as check out the Boss Man Calls. Two things: check out the Boss Man Calls Telegram channel. Obviously, a lot of you guys are, coming in through there. Been a blessing to be able to build the channel with my buddy Boss Man. Obviously, for the last 3 years now, we've been working together for like fucking 38, almost 40 months. When I joined in with him, I think we had 300 members. We've been able to run it up to 40,000 subs of people all over the world. It's been pretty much the biggest blessing in my life to be able to post in there the connections and the friends and everything that I've made from all around the world from the channel. And it's just been a blessing. So obviously, post most of my, in-depth trade ideas, like more in depth than Twitter, on all these different coins, first trade ideas. Bossman's posting a lot of great stuff in there too. Giveaways sometimes, all that good stuff. Appreciate everybody who came in from the channel. And then second thing, also another product or another part of the channel, asset of the channel, BossBot, which is essentially like your one-stop shop for news, like immediately or within a few minutes. You most of the time within it happening, from financial news, from stuff with the war, from Venezuela. This can help you with the markets, obviously, but also stuff like prediction markets. A lot of you guys might be using Polymarket, stuff like that. So definitely check out BossBot if you haven't already. Let me get back to the chat, catch up with the stream before we move on. Thoughts on Corey? We're getting a lot of Corey requests. I'll make sure to look at that. Do you think it will still go to the CME gap? Let me know. I'm honestly, guys, not a big CME gap guy. Obviously, like 90% of the time, eventually, something CME gap's going to fill. But like we saw, I forgot what it was a couple months ago. The CME gap at what was it? Somewhere down here at like, oh shit, the CME gap back down in March or something didn't even fill until all the way in November. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was at like 82K or something. Um, So while CME gaps do fill most of the time, sometimes they don't for several months. So for the most part, guys, I mean, I look at them and I'm aware where they're at, but I don't really put them into my trading. I just don't think there's much of a signal there. Like sometimes they fill, at least in the short term. Long term, there's a really good shot it fills, but short term, I don't think it really determines, unless the gap is like really close to price. I don't think it could go up and continue up for a while, or it could fill the gap. I just don't really pay too much attention to it. I think Bitcoin, even if it were to come down really one more time, this is super corrective behavior right here. Very choppy. This is exactly what we want to be seeing at this decision point high here. So I think what's going to happen is either we power through the all-time high here, or even if we just fucked around here for a little bit longer, I think we clear the all-time high. Or I'm sorry, we clear this 94K high. God, I hate when this tool does this tweaky ass shit. What is going on? I can't even click out of it. That is crazy. Tweaking. Sorry guys. But yeah, I think Bitcoin's about to break here, guys. If it comes down one more time, I'm definitely gonna be adding some ETH longs. Definitely could fill those gaps, but do not be surprised if it doesn't as well. Hey Bren, what are your thoughts on Ponky? Yep, I'm gonna add that to the list right now. We're gonna do some chart review here in just a second. Content coming soon. Appreciate the shout out, of course, brother. Yo, what's good, Bren? What's up, AD? What's up, my guy? How you doing? TG community, that's what's up. Wojak, extremely active. Yep. For AI, okay, yeah, no, so that's a good distinction. I think the Tau, that the renders, the stuff like that, I think are gonna go. I think AI is just obviously one of the biggest narratives and technologies ever, and I think crypto and AI are actually going to be work together. I think crypto and blockchain are going to be the way AI is going to be able to transact. So they're going to work together. The AI needs a way to transact and build economies and do all this different shit. And blockchain is the best way to do it transparently on an open ledger, using a public blockchain, all that stuff. So, yo, another one of the homies too. Definitely check him out. My homie Ziggy here. But some of my guys, he does a lot of cool stuff in fashion and stuff like that. Juicy, what's good? I mean, there's still a CME gap at 20K. Exactly, bro. Like, I would I think if that CME gap fills at 20, bro, we have bigger problems. You know what I mean? I don't. That's what I'm saying. Uranus, we'll look at that too. All right, yeah, I got you. Let's look at Momo first. I'm gonna power through a few of these charts. If you guys would like to clip any of these tweets, share them in any of these communities, Twitter communities. I will like, comment, retweet, share, follow, all that good stuff of any clips from these. So feel free to do that. Momo, wow, Momo is fucking sending, but I mean, you go to the higher time frames, it looks a lot different. But this is good. I will tell you, this is a really nice setup. It's a long, fucking, drawn out setup for sure. But Momo, this is a classic setup. What we'll see, this is the same setup that Bitcoin actually presented. Essentially, another variation on the theme that Bitcoin presented this last few weeks, and that is a move up off of a low, and then a slow chop down towards that low, swept it, and is now powering up. I don't really know much about Momo other than you told me it's the first female Shiba or whatever. But just the chart, not knowing anything else, this looks extremely bullish. This is exactly what you want to see: a correction, corrective behavior into a low, a big shift, impulsive move up, straight green candles. If the market and Bitcoin's able to power through this high here, I think this is what you're going to see on something like Momo. Boom, probably continues higher. This looks really good. Obviously, it's going to be dependent on what Bitcoin does. If for some reason, Bitcoin, fucks around and doesn't go to all-time highs here, you could see Momo doing some shit like this, but, probably something like that eventually. So, yeah, that's Momo. What's the next one? We got XCN was the first one that somebody. Okay, this is a bigger one, obviously. XCN actually pretty similar setup to Momo a little bit. Uh, this is nice. I will say pretty nice setup as well. XCN, I'd have to look. This is X Chain. Is this an L1? No, it's on Ethereum. XCN. Onyx, the financial ledger. Onyx is a modular blockchain designed for financial grade applications, offering new instant transactions. Okay, is it like an L2? Cross border, secure, Onyx coin is Ethereum options, utility gas. Okay, so it's like an L2. Interesting. Just from the chart, though, I will tell you this is a bullish setup. It consolidated for about a year. I'm sorry, it's consolidated for about a year, shifted up, now forming another correction. So essentially, it's a really bullish setup. You got a consolidation, which formed a bottom, shift up, another correction. I think the next shift up is going to happen with the rest of the market. And I don't really know anything about this, but other than that website you showed me, but this chart looks really fucking nice. Not going to lie. What do we got? Let me hammer out a few more of these. Troll, of course. I'm a big fan of Troll. Troll is one of the five or six movement coins that I've been accumulating. Dude, this setup does not get any fucking more beautiful than this, guys. Big deep ass correction, big deep ass correction, but like, what is this? 90% correction that it's still in today. But I mean, what can I say about Troll? Let's just start with the charts, right? Uh, Big 90% correction. The first one it's ever really had. It did have this correction here that I guess it corrected about 75%. But even though it's a 90% correction, it has bounces, kind of choppy in nature. But really, the final, like, really strong sign that this thing has bottomed is the same. It's the same sign you'll hear me say over and over and over again, guys. I hope you're seeing that these patterns and things and these principles that we're talking about repeat on every asset. It doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, S&P 500, Troll. The biggest sign and like the last kind of confirmation on most assets that you're going to get that the bottom is in is consolidation, some type of holding of a low before we shift back up. What do we see here for Troll? It's been holding this low for over a month. Same thing as XCN, same thing with Momo. I think as the market picks up here, we clear this consolidation high. I think Troll does what it did here, where it just powers to all-time highs, and I see Troll, a future billion-dollar coin. Now, as far as other than the chart and what really has me so bullish, before the chart was setting up, is that Troll kind of hits the trifecta. Really, it hits. It's a strong movement, very strong movement on Twitter. You got guys like Shadow. I'm gonna forget a bunch of names, so I won't even go on. Like just a lot of guys pushing it. You got one of the most famous memes in the world with the troll face, and then the team actually owns the IP. So you saw what's it called? What was been doing with Giga Fitness. Who knows? Troll could create some kind of product or series or something around it to bring more attention to the coin. So I think Troll is just is one of the ones you're going to look back on in a year from now and be like, damn, how the fuck did I not buy this down 90%? So that's what I think about Troll. Wojak, let's hit that one. And if I forget your coin, please let me know in the chat. Dude, I think it's, and before we keep going on, I think it's like really a bullish sign that things are starting to come back is when we're getting a lot of chart requests. Because usually during this time, very few chart requests when the market's bearish, but it's a bullish sign. Wojak already up. I mean, dude, it's already made it. It's already shifted. It looked really nice. You obviously always want to be cautious at all time highs because, like I said, all time highs, multi month highs, highs where price is held below for multiple weeks or months are always going to be a big decision point. So I think Troll's going to do this and power through all time highs. But if it's going to reverse and the whole market takes a shit somehow, this is where it's going to do it. So you want to be careful. I wouldn't go all in here. I think the time you wanted to buy Wojak was down here or right here. I still think very likely probably continues through with the rest of the market, but just be cautious. Wojak overall, though, a very, very strong community, one of the strongest, especially for its market cap. I think there's a good future for Wojak if meme coin conditions improve. Bro, Momo, yeah, I already looked at that. Thought on USA News impact on Bitcoin. Boss man calls. What's good? What's good? Thoughts on the USA News? Are you talking about? Are you talking about? Sorry, depends what you're talking about. You're talking about the Venezuelan stuff, or what are you referring to? Thoughts on Jupiter Eco? Yeah, I think somebody talked about Uranus. I don't really have any thoughts on the Jupiter Eco. I don't know too much, to be honest. I will say though that Uranus looks pretty decent chart wise. I'm not really into the coin. I don't really know too much. I think a lot of the bull case for Uranus is people think that Jupiter is gonna somehow like kind of support it, which possible, right? But I don't really like to. I like to bet on meme coins based on the community and the people, or the idea, or the movement, not necessarily a thesis about who's going to support it, right? Because all of those are fleeting, right? You'll see Binance and CZ support an ecosystem one day, and then their focus is elsewhere. You want to bet on communities and the people behind them because that's the stuff that pushes these things forward over weeks and months and years. So Uranus, though, what you want to see, I think, final piece of the puzzle, kind of been consolidating for a bit, but if it could hold above 10 and stuff for a while, I think it's going to push higher. So kind of the first major correction for Uranus, but I think there's a good shot it bounces back. Jupiter, yeah, look at that too. Hey, Brent, can you check out Miner? Yeah. Miner's a good one. Actually looks pretty decent. I know my buddy Bossman has a big believer in Miner. I think Bro has over 1%, probably way more at this point. But actually really good setup on Wojak. Another double bottom, moved out. Really, so this is how the market moves, right? It moves bottoms out, which I call a peak. It impulses, which is like the first major move. Then we'll see corrective behavior like we saw here. I think what's next for Miner and a lot of these other coins, not a coincidence they're setting up the same way, guys, is I think Miner does some shit like this and continues its next impulse to all-time highs. Again, the market moves in impulses, which are big moves up or down, bottoms or tops, to the next impulse, to the next correction, to the next impulse. And I think that's what happens next with Miner. So other than that, obviously this Miner meme is one of the most well-known memes and seems to be a pretty good movement / community building around it as well. Yo, Bren just joined. What I miss? Yo, what's good, Arsham? How you doing? We're just talking about doing some chart requests, talking about some good meme coin setups. Another one that I think White Whale, which I took about 50% off, took some profits again. I was up 25%, 25%, 25x. I would have been mad at myself if I didn't take anything off. But obviously now it is back to all time highs, approaching 100 million, guys. Absolutely insane. One of my best play percentage wise of the year. I didn't quite buy 1%. I bought about a fraction of a percent. About 0.3% or something. But I remember thinking once it was below a million, I was going to buy 1%, and it did go right down there briefly. But of course, I was worrying about holiday shit, bought a bunch of other bullshit that I took my eye off, and then I did add a little bit at 2 million, but not how much I should have. On average, though, on this stream, we talked about White Whale at 3.5 million. Anybody who bought it on the stream, congratulations. We're up about 30x almost. What is it? 26, 27, 8, 28x, some shit like that. This has been a fucking cook. The way that I played this, the way I play most of these is enter during a correction. Took 25% off here. Took about another 50%. I'm sorry, another 25%. Around 50, like maybe 60 something. And now we're here. Now, when you're in this position, we can't really lose. I think White Whale is continuing to create a lot of great content, and he himself is kind of building a story around the coin. And I'm bullish. I think this probably continues on. And if this thing goes to like $1 billion someday, I think that'd be an incredible story of how we hit a 280x together on stream. But either way, I'm fucking bullish on White Whale. I'm risk free from this position. So for me, it's kind of just a not a buy and forget, because I'm definitely love to be involved in the community and all that good shit. Meet a lot of White Whale community members and shit. But as far as like buying or anything like that, I'd potentially add to White Whale if it were to give us a 50 to 75% correction, but I would not be betting on that anytime soon. Of course, it will correct like everything does, but dude, White Whale is fucking strong. FKH is breaking out. Let's fucking go. Shout out to MKT, another great up and coming beast with the charts and a lot of other cool shit he's posting. What was it? Fucking, what was I looking at? Completely blanking. FKH. Ketamine horse, baby. Let's go. Damn, son. Look at this shit. Another one. Not to toot my own shit, bro, but look at this shit. Boom. We went a little bit lower, but look at that shit. I think this is gonna fucking explode. Damn it. I want to fucking ad right now. This is at 9 million, so it's not like we're really gonna. I don't know. Not financial advice, but FKH is looking fucking primed on the lower and pretty much every time frame. The way I view this right now is very, very healthy price action. When you see a coin like this that makes these big moves up, but then all like they'll move up for a week or 3 or 4 or 5 days and then consolidate, or I'm sorry, correct for 3 or 4 days and then come up and form these kind of really clean corrective channels like we saw here December 12th. This is where I got in, was my boy, shout out to Donnie Dicey, uh, told me to buy around 2 million, which was like right here. We pulled back a bit, was able to add another one I wish I would have bought more of. Went to 20x, giving us another opportunity. I think we go above 20 this time and probably go much higher. So FKH looks fucking amazing. Shout out to Donnie. Check Bless Network. It's a utility coin. Yeah, I can do that. But I hope you guys can feel the fucking momentum shifting. Shout out to everybody who stuck around, everybody who's hung out with us on the streams every week. Miss D, shout out to, let me go, everybody. Miss D, fucking MKT. We got Ali, just a few names homies that I recognize. Dangy, Juicy, Affinity, Arsham, seen you a bunch, Rectardio, all of you guys. Shout out to everybody for hanging out. I hope you guys can feel the momentum shifting from, very bearish fucking a few weeks ago to now. But again, I think right now I saw Thread Guy's clip, and shout out to him. Thread Guy is fucking killing it. Um, I admire a lot of the shit he's doing. I think he put out a clip saying that there's not really any coins to bid right now. And I don't know. I push a little bit against that. I think that the problem isn't that there's no coins or NFTs to bid right now. I think there's plenty. It's that most people like wait for validation from the market, meaning the price going up, the biggest part, or others telling them that it's good, in order to get in. Right. I think the greatest trades that I've made personally, the greatest investments, have come from buying things that people called me insane for buying at the time, the SPX, the pump coin, and there's plenty of these we hit together on stream together. The pump, the USDUC at the time, uh, uh, White Whale, the fucking biggest example. I mean, some of these other streamers and stuff are kind of trolling it and saying that it's perma-topped. Essentially, all the biggest plays that we hit this year and throughout my career really, have come at a time where people called me insane for buying it, or just were like, "Why are you buying this? Like, what's the bull case?" Um, and and yeah, I mean that's the I think that's the greatest times, the greatest opportunities. But yeah, I hope you guys can feel the momentum shifting. I think there's this small opportunity right now where prices are still down, but I hope you can feel the momentum shift and like feel feel that it's, I don't know. I think there's a big shift coming. I think all the stars have kind of aligned. The regulatory clarity stuff's being set up, macro, the institutional stuff. I think everything's kind of lining up to where we could not only see a big bounce back, but maybe potentially the biggest run that crypto's ever had. True adoption cycle, all of that good shit. And I mean, think about it. If somebody in 2030 told you that the macro was the best it's ever been, the institutions are finally adopting crypto, the regulatory clarity where founders know what they can and can't do as far as building businesses and all that. Um, all of the stuff is lined up, and somebody told you, like, don't you think that would be the time where crypto would go on its greatest run, where it would have its glory days, maybe its super cycle, is when true adoption's finally happening? I think it makes sense, right? So obviously, who knows what happens as far as how big this is, but I think there's a really case to be made that the move up that we're going to see here over the next few years, especially with how things have been suppressed and kind of coiled up, could be the biggest run that we've seen in many, many years. That's kind of how I'm expecting it. Of course, take profits on the way up so you don't have to guess whether it is, but ETH is moving. Let's fucking go. What about MOG and Fartcoin? MOG and Fartcoin. Fartcoin, I've been slacking, buying a bit. Still have a pretty nice Fartcoin position from pretty a good bit higher. But MOG, I think, is pound for pound might be the best. They have the ETF, which a lot of people are sleeping on. A lot of good stuff for MOG, and it is shifting above this high, shifting below this low. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the complete bottom, and we don't go back and retest that. I've been buying a shit ton of MOG on the way down here, and I think MOG's a future. Fuck, I wasn't sharing my screen. I think MOG is a future $1 billion coin. It shifted up, kind of swept this low here, swept this 1 year low or the 6 month low, came back above it. I think we chop a bit here and then send back to all time highs for MOG. I don't know if you chart 1 minute cap, 1 million market cap coins. Yeah, I did look at Miner earlier. I do like Miner here. I had Wojak at 90K. God damn, bro. I always, you guys know my game for the most part is like a low cap for me is like 1 million. Like when I bought White Whale at 3.5 and below, like that was the first sub 5-10 million market cap coin that I traded or bought in months. And so I'm always amazed when I see guys like you, like AO. I have some friends like my homie Get Doe and his brother, this other guy Alone. They catch these like coins like White Whale at like 70K, or some of these fucking some of the biggest coins, and they got them at like 20-30K, and I'm like, dude, how the fuck do you guys do this? um Dude, I always admire that type of style. It's pretty crazy. I can't do it. I like to size into stuff when it's already kind of a little bit solidified, but also still getting faded. Recently, USA news like Venezuela and Greenland. Yes, exactly. Can you check 21 coin? Yeah, I can do that. If you guys could, while I'm pulling up 21, like, comment, retweet, share. Always helps if you guys comment on the, if you anything you found in the value, anything, um, like, comment, retweeting, all that stuff helps out. Trying to again spread this stream or trying to continue to do these streams no matter the market conditions. We've kept consistent, nonstop for the last year. Again, shout out everybody who stuck around. I think the best is yet to come. I think we did incredible in a pretty off year for crypto. I can't imagine what we're going to do, all the shit we're going to learn together during good conditions again. So shout out to everybody who's hanging out. Toshi, Eliezer, Hunter, Effie, Minaz, Samku, Solitude, everybody. I'm going to quote tweet this really quick too. Let's go and do this. Um, do this. Yo, we're live. Yeah, while I'm doing this, also, if you're just popping in, let me know two things: what country you're tuning in from, or region, or whatever, and then whether this is your first time in the stream or you're returning. Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and check in. What the fuck we doing? Okay, so guys, I think what we're gonna be farming here for Bitcoin, very likely Diamond Pug. You paying attention, bro? Let me know if you're still here. Something like this. Somebody clip this. Let's come back to this in a few hours and see, like tomorrow, see where this is at. I think, again, this is actually the ideal setup that you want to be seeing at these big decision points in the market. Bitcoin, 94K high. These are the setups you want to be seeing, is essentially some type of corrective channel, corrective pattern off of that all-time or off of that big high. Oftentimes, what you're going to see at these decision points, more often than not, it rarely just breaks right through. You're often going to see some type of consolidation or some type of move down off of those highs. Again, these are big decision points in the market. But what the most ideal setups are is you get a quick choppy move down, and then within a few days you're already back above. And that's what's setting up here for Bitcoin, guys. So after this stream, I might even share my screen and do it now. I think I'm going to add to my ETH long position. Again, don't do anything stupid. Do not fucking place a 25, 30x long right now, because it's very possible ETH does something like this first before it goes up. But on the mid time frames over the next few days, I think ETH, Bitcoin, Sol are correcting on the lower time frames and then make a big move up here in the next several days. Yo, Ghost. I'll look at Ghost in just a second. I'm going to write that down. 21 coin. Somebody asked that a second ago. 287K. This is brand new. There's not much I can tell you. There's a little bit of price action stuff. I will say, even though this is only over a few days, classic setup. You got to move down, consolidation, big strong move up, and then potentially what we're looking at here is another correction on the lower time frames before we probably, if I had to guess, based on everything else, the rest of the market, I think this is probably what it does, guys. Some shit like this. So I don't know anything else about 21 coin. What is this? Is this some kind of TikTok video or some shit? Someone let me know. I'm probably a fucking. I probably should know what this is, but render. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, damn, render. Okay. Yeah, man, I really like this chart. Again, render is in the AI category, one of the bigger AI coins. Nice correction on the higher time frames. I think this might be it for render. I mean, worst case scenario, if Bitcoin fails to break this high somehow, I think you chop around for a bit. But I think coming back 6 months from now, render is much higher. I think a lot of these AI coins, guys, the Taos, the renders, a few of the other ones are really looking good on the higher time frames. So I think it looks good, bro. Really, the biggest. I'm fucking. Let's see. That stutter was crazy. No, I think the biggest kind of last kind of confirmation, if it can close above this bounce high at around 4.5, I think that'll be a really good sign that it's back. But I like it so far. This is really what you want to be seeing in the start of a reversal back to the upside. 300K on 21 coin looks pretty decent. Got in between 1.4. Brent, I'm telling you, 21 coin. Yeah, I mean the chart looks good, bro. Pablo, what's good, bro? Do your viewers increase with Bitcoin price? That is a great question. The answer is yes. I think crypto content in general is just like the pump fund volume, just like meme coins and altcoins. Everything in crypto ebbs and flows based on what Bitcoin is doing, even viewership. I think it was David from Bankless or something. I heard him talking about how viewership in crypto is actually at like 2018 lows. So yes, the viewership in crypto on Twitter, pretty much everywhere else, especially outside of Twitter, is ebbs and flows with how crypto is doing. If there's more people trading meme coins, more people making money, Bitcoin's going up, there's infinitely more viewers and people interested, and the algo feeds that. I'm sure a lot of you guys see it in the algo lately. They kind of redid it, but I think partly the reason why the algo might not be blowing crypto posts up is because it's been pretty dead. Prices have been dead, but I think when prices go up here, the AI, Grok, and stuff will probably keep feeding more crypto stuff. So to answer your question, 100%, and that's why you know, I'm bullish on people who stuck around during this last time because I think the algo and everything are gonna really favor people who don't just come and go when things are strong. Greetings from Elitemo. What is up, brother? I forget your name is fucking Rectario on here. Oh, Elitomo. That is okay. For some Rectario, you have the same name on here, right? Am I fucking tripping? How do you rect ratio rect ratio? Oh, homie. Oh, we haven't even connected yet. I don't think. I think I was thinking of some other motherfucker, but you know what? Actually, I've definitely recognized your shit. I've definitely seen your PFP. Shout out to you though, bro. Shout out to Elite Mo. Let him know, or Ella. Let him know. I say what's up. He's another great guy as well. Another cool person I met this year. Shout out to him, and shout out to R2 as well. Thank you for coming to the stream, bro. Oh no, yeah, I definitely remember you. Kyle on Arc, what's up, bro? Long time, man. How you doing, Kyle? Hope everything's good, bro. HF Chiro with the bearish PFP. What's up? What's up? Thoughts on Giga? My thoughts on Giga are bullish, very bullish thoughts on Giga. Okay. Giga is the trifecta. It is one of the most famous meme coins of all time. Famous meme coins, but famous memes of all time. Obviously, the Giga Chad. Let's see. I want to ask Grok something. What are the most famous memes in the world? What are the 10 here are the top 10 most famous influential internet memes of all time. Okay. How frequently appear in the greatest ever list, historical overviews, and viral legacy? Number one is Rickroll. Rick Astley's never gonna give you up. Okay. Doge, which is interesting. Wow. Pepe the Frog. Okay. Troll Face. Bullish on Troll. Success Kid. Okay, that baby. This is fine. Casey Green, Comic Dog, and Burning Room. Okay. Distracted Boyfriend. Grumpy Cat. All you base. All your base or belong to us. Okay. So as you guys can see, out of the memes, Pepe, Doge, Pepe, and Troll are all successful meme coins. Grumpy Cat. I remember there was a Grumpy Cat coins. None of these other ones are really up there. Um, where would Giga Chad fit in on this list if you had to put a number on it? Ooh. Giga Chad, the hyper masculine chiseled jawed ultra. It had to slap it in the previous all time list. It placed it around 7 to 9, but not quite cracking the absolute upper echelon. Interesting. Okay, yeah, but yeah, I think Giga Chad is the trifecta. It has one of the most famous memes, one of the most strongest movement coins, and then Giga Fitness. They own the IP behind Giga Chad so that they can, or at least they're licensing it. I don't know, one of the two, so that they can build cool products around it and actually build attention and hype around the meme coin as well. So, um, yeah, I'm bullish on Giga. I actually saw some guy at the gym the other day who I wanted to ask him if he was on CT, but didn't really have a chance. Who was wearing the Giga Fitness, like a Giga Fitness shirt, like one of those like tight, the fucking whatever it's called, material. It looked really fucking sick. But yeah, I'm bullish on Giga. What are your views on USD1 coins? I haven't really protect lethal. I haven't really, dude. We're at 900 views right now with an hour to go. That's actually, I think it's bullish. A lot of sign that people are tuning into crypto. Lots of great questions in here. I so appreciate you guys for being in here and answering these or asking these questions. I fucking love doing this. I think we're at a really nice momentum shift. If you're just hopping in the stream right now, appreciate all you guys who obviously follow, like, comment, retweet, share. Two things in the chat. If you're just hopping in, let me know if one, what country you're tuning in from or region, and then if this is your first time in the stream or if you're returning. Right now, we're just going over some nice setups. Giga Chad being one of them. Protect Lethal just asked me, "Hey, bro, what are your views on USD1 coins?" As a whole, I think the World Liberty Fied stuff is going to put a lot of light on the coins. Like I said, FKH is, I think, the only one that I own. Maybe Shit Piss can as well. Or Shit Piss. What is it? Shit Piss Skin Can. Crazy, crazy name, but Shit Piss. I think this one I had at around 5 that I'm just holding, and then what's it called? We have FKH obviously. So I like the coins on there. I do think there's a narrative that's going to be formed around the World Liberty Fi. I think Trump products in general, if we know anything about the Trumps, and if crypto does enter a really big bullish period, I think there's a few assets that could do very well. Let's just go over them really quickly, right? Obviously, you have the FKH, um, the USD1 coins. Those are probably your higher volatility exposure to that ecosystem. But also, you obviously have World Liberty Fi. World Liberty Fi, I think, is going to do incredibly well. I have not looked at this chart. Wow. Okay, yeah. Dude, I think the World Liberty Fi is about to go fucking nuts. I'll tell you why. Let me know. Somebody tell me in the chat. You already know what I'm going to say. Miss D or somebody might know what I'm going to say here. What is the biggest dead giveaway and the biggest obvious fucking sign here that this thing is going to send? Very likely. 3 months of consolidation. 3 months where the market was able to consolidate, gather itself. This is the biggest giveaway or the biggest green flag for a big reversal on any chart, any candlestick chart or line chart, really any of these. So I think USDUC is going to do the same thing as Bitcoin, probably chop around a bit and then continue to send. Again, the Trump family has every opportunity to to put a lot of attention on these assets in good conditions. Everybody fucking trolls Eric Trump every time he says something about crypto. It's because conditions have been bad. But if you think these Trump tweets and these different partnerships and shit that they're making aren't going to go up during a time where crypto's going well, then I think you're going to be quite surprised, in my opinion. I think World Liberty Fi is going to go crazy. You look at Trump Coin, which is just everybody's seems to say negative shit about Trump coin that, it is the reason why we topped, and, it what's it called, extracted so much money out of the market, so on and so forth. And while that's not completely invalid, I think there's definitely a reason why the market came down so hard, is it did, a lot of capital was kind of sucked up through Trump. That sounds crazy, but what was a lot of capital was kind of captured and kind of taken out of the market by Trump coin. With that being said, in good conditions, the president of the United States, they've done dinners and stuff in the past in good conditions. I think they very likely. I don't know. It's a big move back to all time highs, but a few Truth Social tweets, a few things in good crypto conditions. I think Mike, our guy Mike, or Max Crypto, who was on here a few months ago, told us that he thinks Trump coin will do well if the stuff that Trump is doing in crypto, the regulations, the different stuff, is perceived well from the public. Then I think Trump coin is going to do well, he says. And I mean, over the last 6 months, the Trumps, you like him or hate him, I think it's pretty objective to say that Trump has done everything and beyond what he said as far as like crypto, pushing the crypto industry forward. So I don't know. I like the chances for Trump, World Liberty Fi Trump. And then one that my boy Diamond Pug has been talking a lot about, if you're more of an equities guy, is maybe USD Bitcoin. Is that what it's called? US Bitcoin, right? US Bitcoin. Is it US Bitcoin? Fuck is it? USD Bitcoin? I forgot what it's called. It's the one that that the Trumps own. It's a crypto miner that the Trumps own. But yeah, I think all of those are set up to do really well. What's 9 plus 10? My best bet was 68x on Kabuto. Nice job, bro. Mog is definitely your favorite project than SPX, but the overall love of your life is VFriends. You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. Yeah, no. Other than like Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, SPX is up there. I mean, VFriends, to me, I just feel so fucking so much conviction long term on stuff that I like just set and forget for 5 years. I know that sounds crazy to people, but again, the best, I'm just going based on my experiences. The best bets I've ever made are when people look at me fucking sideways when I told them I bought however much of it. And I think VFriends, especially, or NFTs in general, but especially VFriends, we're seeing a bit of a momentum shift recently, which we'll talk about in a second for NFTs. But um, I forgot to shut my other window. There's some fucking. But anyways, I think I think that's a perfect example of that adage right there. Is that NFT? You're telling people you're buying a lot of NFTs right now, or especially a couple months ago, especially VFriends and stuff like. They're like, well, what are you doing? Like, what do you think's going to come of this? Like, I think the biggest thing people are missing with NFTs is they think it's just going to be a collection game now, and these prices are never going to go up. But dude, these collections are so small, 10K projects, even the 20, 30, 50K NFTs, when the public is trading NFTs, like that's going to be fucking nothing. 50, 10K NFTs, like give me a fucking break. So if these brands get it all big, these prices are going to push up hard on the great ones. And we'll go over what I'm really most bullish on for NFTs here in a second. Some guy reposted the stream. Pablo reposted the stream. Appreciate everybody for sharing and being on here in general. 2026 will be 2025, but better. Yes, 2026 will make 2025 look like a fucking joke, I think. Hopefully. Cali backing the 21 coin. That's what's up. That's the 21 candle form right now. Is it going up? Yeah, it is. It's kind of in the same place it was when we were in. 160K in volume last 24 hours. That's pretty good, bro. I'm not. I should have shared the screen, but it's almost 2 a.m. in Dubai. Arsham says, "Thank you for being here, Arsham. Thank you, brother. Get some sleep though soon." Master. Oh yeah, Master. MicroStrategy. I don't know why I call it Master. MicroStrategy 2. Another one that's just getting absolutely fucking fudded to shit. I think MicroStrategy might be bottom here, guys. I'm so tempted. There's so many things I want to buy. I'm shopping for a CryptoPunk, some good vibes clubs I'm gonna buy today, some quirkies, some more meme coins and shit that I need to get in. But I'm so tempted to with some USD to buy some options on Robinhood or somewhere else for MicroStrategy. I'm gonna get some water real quick. Hold on, guys. Yo, we got our my good homie and regular fucking humbled wine, Jeremy. What's up, bro? Jeremy, I did see your DM this morning, and I was on a phone call, but I'll shoot you a DM later. But any projects with upcoming airdrops you recommend? That is a great question. I think there's two big airdrops that I think could be one of the biggest airdrops crypto's ever seen. Both of them that a lot of people are sleeping on right now. That are very easy. They're L2s and they're very easy to farm right now. That is one, Abstract. I think Abstract. I think Luca Nets. Same with Alon. Same with Gary Vee. A lot of these other guys understand market conditions, right? They understand that they're going to keep building no matter what. They're going to put their head down and build and continue to do stuff. But they understand that market conditions fuel a lot of what happens with these assets. Very rarely do assets as a whole move up during shitty conditions, right? So I think Luca understands that launching Abstract over the last 3 to 4 months would not have been smart into low liquidity, into low interest. I think Alon understands the same thing with Pump Fund, and I think that's why these guys, as Sol and a lot of these other coins approach all-time highs, there's a lot more people paying attention, a lot more people risk on. That's when I think you're going to see the Abstract airdrop probably come if market continues, maybe in the next couple months, probably if I had to guess. In that case, it's really a lot of people have taken their eye off the ball for Abstract. Um, and I really should get back on there and start farming more. I have not been doing that, but I think Abstract will be one of the biggest airdrops of all time, and it's very very easy to farm. Um, you play some of those games, you hold a couple of the NFTs, but really just playing some of the games and doing some of the stuff, you can farm easily XP that will contribute to that airdrop. And then the second one, and probably the biggest one out there, is base. The L2 base is going to form, or is saying they're quote unquote exploring a coin. I think base, they have so much connection with traditional stock market buyers. I would imagine that the equity holders will get some type of option to get maybe an airdrop of base, which would be some pretty exciting historic stuff. And I think base is going to do very well long term in their token as well. So the best way to farm that is probably to go on Zora, which is their account, create their like social media thing, and then the base app. Those two, use those. You can pretty much use them for free, for pennies or free, and just rack up a bunch of XP on that. So Abstract, base. I think you could produce, Jeremy, and whoever's hearing this. I think you can produce that five, or a decent four, if not five figure airdrop from farming these airdrops. Really, in farming is just like using the chain. Buy the dip, says Mike. Shout out to you, Mike. How you doing, bro? Just, what's up? Pump? Yeah, so yeah, my producer just mentioned Pump. Yeah, Pump does have an airdrop, but they haven't really specified how they're going to do that. If they're going to do it to users, they're going to do it more being more of a streaming thing. But yeah, definitely Pump would be another way. Very likely. Again, not nothing guaranteed for a Pump airdrop, but what's 9 plus 10? Oh, is that the what I was looking at earlier? Desync is flying to. Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, it's a video where you said what's 9 plus 10, and it's like 21. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's watch that. What is that? 21 kid. Let me make sure I'm not fucking doxing myself right here by being on Reddit. No, I'm good.
You stupid.
They're not.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
Okay, yeah. I've seen that. Um, 21. Yeah. Thoughts on USD one coin? Yeah, I mean the coin looks good, guys. The chart, it is low cap, but fuck yeah, rect, 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 or rect. Okay, how the fuck rect ratio? Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. I don't know why that was looking all. I got dyslexia here for a second. I couldn't even read that. What's up, Rojan? It's breaking out. It grabbed enough liquidity. Fuck yeah. Yes, I feel that too, and bullish on one coin. Me Naz, what's up, bro? We're close to 1,000 viewers. Yeah, yeah. It's there's definitely a lot more people pouring into these streams right now, which is great. Shout out to everybody who's coming in from the Telegram channel, just from Twitter. Let me know where you're at, and if this is the first time in the stream or you're returning. The 21 coin, 67 coin follow a similar narrative. Yep, that's true. Thoughts on USDUC? Bullish as fuck on USDUC, guys. I think the amount of mind share and attention that USDUC has on the timeline versus its market cap only being at 5.7 is incredible. And USDUC might be being under 10 mil, and the potential for this coin is incredible. I think it makes a run back towards all-time highs on this next leg up if Bitcoin can make new all-time highs or approach it, obviously. Um, so yeah, USDUC I really like. Uh, I've been buying a good amount on the way down, and I like USDC's chances, man. Please don't forget Ponky. Yeah, look at Ponky and then Neat. Pablo asked about Neat as well. Ponky is an OG one. I have not looked at this chart probably since this time last year, maybe longer. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, big ass correction on Ponky. But damn, it is an OG coin. That's pretty crazy. When Ponky came out, it really only ran for that's about 4 months. Wow, that's actually an incredible run that Ponky went on in 2024. I was about to say last year, but dude, that was 2 years ago or 13 months ago. Oh no, that is 2 years ago. Wow. But yeah, Ponky last bull run or last meme coin kind of bull run in 2024 went from 6.9 to 427. So I want to show you this actually, you guys. Like maybe people have popped in the last few months in crypto. You guys kind of came in at the end of the bull run. This is the kind of possibilities for buying and holding these kind of coins that you believe in, right? Meme coins the last year have just been a lot of 200K toppers or whatever, 1 mil toppers. But this just goes to show that in good conditions, a coin could be at 5 million and then 2 or 3 months later be all the way at 400. Of course, this doesn't happen on every coin, but I could probably show you 5 or 10 coins, probably more, that did something similar to this in 2024. Thing you got to recognize is that back down in 2024, back at 6 million, what were people thinking about meme coins? They for sure were not. The majority were definitely not bullish on them. There was a lot of the same FUD that we had now. That meme coins just went on a quick run and they're done. And Ponky and all these other coins are never going to recover. And then what do you know? A couple months later, it's up 50x. So this is a 50x in a matter of 4.5 months. So shows you the possibilities of believing in something really. And then Neat as well. Neat coin. I do want to talk about NFTs as well. I feel bad, or I should mention the NFTs quicker because or sooner in the show, especially now that there's so a lot of momentum for them. But Neat. So Neat is a very interesting setup because it did consolidate up here for a month and a half and did produce a pretty significant move down. With that being said, I do think there's a strong possibility that just like Bitcoin, even though it saw a strong move down, stronger than most corrections that it's had, I think there's a good chance that this acts as a correction and NEAT powers back to all time highs here. This is looking very impulsive. You know, if it can power up a little bit more here, I think it goes to all time highs. But again, beware that it always could do some stuff like this and chop down one more time. But really, if you're buying and holding, and that doesn't really matter to you. So yeah, lower time frames, anything could happen. But I think on the middle time frames over the next few weeks, I think this probably moves higher. Neat chart does look good. How the fuck could I forget 815 boy says UFD? UFD has been absolutely fucking ripping. Another UFD is one of the most underrated movement coins, I think. I think a lot of people have written them off, but one of the strongest kind of like solid group of people that I've met in the space since I had Basement Ron on, which I need to have Basement Ron on in the next few weeks. What a great interview that is. What a insightful, thoughtful guy he is. He's a fucking beast. He not only do we talk about the UFD meme coin and kind of his view on how the movement memes could play out, but also he's just a gold and a silver bug, and this guy's been telling people to buy gold and silver for years, right? And even since our last stream, silver really went on its fucking huge run. So definitely need to come in and talk to Ron. I will. I need to DM him. Shout out to the UFD community. I know it's Mike, like just kind of like how V Friends is. It might not be the quote unquote cool thing on the timeline, but you know what is cool? You know, big 5, 10, 20x gains when these things go back up. You know, good communities, all that different shit. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that lasts in meme coins is community. Same thing with NFTs. NFTs a little bit different. It's a lot about the operator, but as far as meme coins, it's really all about the core community and the core team behind it. Yeah, we need Basement Ron back. Yeah, for sure. I need to hit him up. Let's check in on Bitcoin, guys. What are we doing? Is our setup following right now for ETH? Okay, we're kind of fucking around. I wouldn't be surprised if ETH. Fuck, why did I do that? I would not be surprised if ETH did one of two things. It could just send right from here, or we could chop down a little bit lower, in which I would be longing more. Either way, I am in a long with an average entry of about 3K, like I showed you before, and I think my first profit target is about 3,500. So I think we're gonna hit that on this next leg. What's 9 plus 10? Fucking 21. 21. All right, let's look at the timeline. Let's fucking lurk the timeline a little bit. When you want to chat legends. Oh, okay. Shout out to UC homies. Bro has the best gifts. Yeah, Proof. The homie Proof does. I've seen some good gifts from him. Shout out to Simon Ralph. I don't know if you're on here right now, Simon, but shout out to you, man. NFTs just starting to come around. There's a lot of good people who have been writing about and talking about NFTs for even through the bad times, and Simon's a good one. Wow, is that not proof of work? Yeah, Taki. Damn. Also, what I'm starting to notice, like I've probably tweeted 2 or 3 times today. Not even anything that's gone crazy at all. The biggest sign I'm starting to notice that the market's coming back is having followers. I think this is the last few hours, like 32 followers coming in naturally. I've noticed the last few months it was, from streams and stuff they come in if the posts were doing well, but it's definitely a good sign. Miss D says there's been a big shift in momentum and definitely more on chain, 100%. Hey, shout out to Farmer Joe. Thank you for sharing the stream, bro. Yeah, I agree, Farmer Joe. It definitely feels different, but let's just make sure we clear these highs first. Spicy Rich, what's good? Shout out to Perfume Addict. Shout out to you. Um, Many people think NFTs are nothing is because they don't see the long term vision, its value, potential, and use cases that they have and will have. We're still early for it to be adopted with the masses, and we need to keep investigating, exploring the use cases. Absolutely. I think a lot of what's going to drive NFTs is a few things. I think NFTs also, like how I was saying, crypto kind of the fundamentals set up before the actual price moves. Same things with NFTs right now. NFTs are literally in the perfect world right now where a few things are getting really big. Collectibles, massive. Pokemon cards. You see Logan Paul's card's going to go on auction for probably $10 million or some shit. You got sports cards, Pokemon cards. Labubu's went fucking nuts. Collecting's becoming a massive thing and is only going to get bigger. You got people like Gary Vee saying collecting's going to be right up there with fashion, sports brands, up there with people who used to invest in paintings and real estate. A lot of that's going to go into collectibles. Um, NFTs are obviously the next form of collectibles, I think, or in the future. And then you have RWA, which actually verifying, authenticating stuff on um, on that, and then a lot of other different use cases. I'm forgetting other things, but like it's just kind of in the perfect storm of all these different trends, and I think they're all gonna merge to have kind of send NFTs back. Huge resurgence. We're gonna say something, Jesse? Hey, did they? Was this down here? I know. I'm just saying. Was this shared down earlier? Came from 21 community. Hey, shout out to the 21 community. They shared your live. Hey, where'd you guys share it at? If it's on Twitter, I'll retweet it. But shout out to the 21 community, man. I found a lot of the greatest opportunities. Um, fuck. Why did 21 my name come up when I typed 21? Oh, that's weird. 21 coin. Somebody sent me the link. Um, but some of the greatest meme coins and stuff that I found from have come from people shilling me in the comments. I know a lot of people kind of shit on reply guys and whatever the hell, but like else, honestly, some of the best opportunities I've found, and then also um, some of the best people I've found are from people coming in the chat and shilling or just saying what's up. Where's the uh, Eric's human? Thanks for okay. I see the community. Okay, got you. Thanks for sharing, Eric's human. I appreciate that, bro. Eric Schumann means a lot. Well, let's look at 21 coin though, real quick. I know a lot of you guys are. Yeah. So kind of just to review what I was doing earlier. If you guys want to, this goes for any of these coins I'm talking about. If you guys want to clip them, I will. Shit. Uh, if this goes for any of these coins that I talked about, if you guys want to clip them, tag me. I will like, comment, retweet, share, all that good shit. Follow back. So 21. What? Even though this coin came out 5 days ago, it has some pretty nice price action, some pretty like clear price action on where it kind of is in its like cycle. By cycle, I mean the market, most assets, pretty much all assets go in this type of cycle, right? They bottom out usually in some type of consolidation. They shift hard to the upside, which I call an impulse. Then it shows corrective behavior, which usually leads to another impulse, and then a correction to another impulse. And then eventually the trend is going to change with another consolidation or a peak, which leads to an impulse to the other side. So the way I view this right now is a consolidation. We have the first impulse, and then very likely this is a consolidation, corrective consolidation that I think leads to, again, I don't know other than the homies that I met here in the chat, and I know the meme. This is based strictly on, I don't know the bubble maps or any of that shit. This is strictly based on this chart structure alone. What I see here is a nice base formed with a consolidation of 3 or 4 days, a nice impulse, and then now I think a correction that on this next leg, probably leads it to a million if I had to guess. For all the 21 homies, I hope that plays out for you. The chart does look pretty fucking solid, so thank you, bro. I did see the share. What's good, Big Belly? Um, fucking. Um, Shout out to fucking Big Belly as well. This guy back in back during NFT heyday, like especially towards the end there, from when I saw him, this guy is like one of the best flippers I've ever seen. Um, Both in a bunch of different projects, um, but one of the best NFT traders. But what I like he's doing recently is also doing a lot of like collecting and a lot of these projects that I'm also very bullish on. Um, I've been meaning to get with him. I need to get with him today and complete some good vibes purchases. I was looking at the collection this morning. Um, I'm planning on getting probably like a rare and then, you know, several floors. But Big Belly, I really like what he's doing. Again, advocating for a lot of these great projects like Good Vibes Club and some of these other ones. Right now, what I'm liking a lot is a Good Vibes Club. V Friends, you guys obviously know, but Good Vibes Club, Quirkies, Chimpers. I think that those projects right now are kind of standing out as far as having like true collector, like having base, um, a true collector base going where people are, you know, aren't really focusing on the price or any of that and just having a good time. And those projects are really growing right now. So getting us. Shout out to Jaden. What's ETH doing? Yeah, I'm definitely. I think we're gonna see ETH either do a high or low. I think ETH's gonna between here and like 31, 32, kind of finish this correction and head higher. But over the next few days, see if there's anything I missed. And I want to look at NFTs a bit. Shout out to Boss Man. Obviously, if you guys aren't following Boss Man, I know most of you probably are, but check him out. My good homie, business partner. Um, he's been killing it lately too. Minaz, Kyle, what's good? What's good? What's up, LX? What's up, Sproto? Yeah, I know. Kyle asked, "What's a giveaway winner?" Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I'm gonna do that giveaway here in a second too, guys. Again, the giveaway is gonna be done from the comments randomly from the comments of the stream tweet. Best coin to buy right now. FKH looks really nice. Fuck, dude. There's a lot of coins. It depends, what market cap range, whatever you're talking about. But yeah, like I said, FKH, pretty nice coin in like the sub 10 mil market cap range, dude. If you got the movement coins are still barely have moved yet. You got Pump, Aster, Hype, all those barely have moved. But maybe for like a low cap coin, yeah, like FKH looks really nice right now. Arachnine.
This. We hold.
Damn, this one's fucking crazy. Me swapping pudgy penguins for little. Dude, good vibes are fucking. Thanks, Danny. I appreciate it, bro. Damn, Danny, you've been supporting for a minute. I appreciate you, brother. 77% chance the Supreme Court rules Trump's tariffs are illegal.
Even though if meme coins get to like 20-30% of what happened
Oh no.
on Solana 2024. Because, bro, people forget that we were running meme coins, especially like 21, 22 on ETH, and every single day Vitalik would come out and would publicly just like condemn and shit on meme coins. People would send him supply, and he would, people would send Vitalik 50% of supply on ETH, and he would sell all of it. He would stack it. Without Toli in Solana, I don't even know if meme coins get to like 20-30% of what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I think meme coins, I'm not sure how much it really has to do with Toli or anything. I think meme coins are going to fucking send, at least the ones that have survived. But yeah, I remember when Vitalik used to they used to send him, I think Shib was the biggest one, and then he sold a bunch of it or gave it a bunch of charity or some shit. Shout out to Giga Griff. Yeah, Giga looks fucking nice.
Definitively, we can say the 4-year cycle is broken. And for those who are not familiar with this 4-year cycle, since the inception of Bitcoin, every 4 years we've had 3 up years, and then in the 4th year, we've had a down year, and that's
Got you. Thank you. That's actually appreciate you reminding me that. Thoughts on nothing. Yeah, I'll look at that for you. Love this stream, bro. Appreciate it, Kyle. I want to look at NFTs really quick. So, I mean, NFTs have gotten a nice little resurgence over the last week, really, as ETH were coming up. Gary V's been going in some of these Twitter spaces, talking. Fuck, I should stop sharing my screen again. Going into some of these Twitter spaces, kind of striking up a lot of hype and not just hype, just kind of excitement and optimism around NFTs. There was this clip that I think Loki, shout out to Loki, he's also been posting a lot of great NFT content. Where are we?
And I think that, I think NFTs are collectibles for the rest of everybody's life in here, the end. And I think that NFTs right now are just in the same place that many collectibles have been. Stamps, coins, trading cards, toys. They're in a lull. But friends, let me just say, this is actually a good one to end on. Legos was almost out of business 25 years ago. Legos were almost out of business 25 years ago. Then they started to do Star Wars. They realized, oh shit, IP matters, and their company exploded. So let there be no confusion. Things can cycle back. Crocs, here's a good one. Crocs were dead in the fucking water 7 years ago. Some of you wore them as kids, and remember if you're older, they were dead, they were dorkiest, they were the worst. And 6 years ago, they executed properly, and people fucking, basketball players around the country, the coolest kids, wore Crocs every day.
Labubu's,
NFTs are
Gary,
collect.
Labubu's, great example, right? They've been around for 10 years.
Yeah, that's going to be in reverse, right? To your point, they've been around, then they got hot, like real hot, because they, and then they're going to be cold next year, and then in 7 years they're going to get hot again, and so like it's all the same shit. It's a great call out.
Yeah.
Labubu's a
Anyway, I
great
don't want
one.
to play the whole thing, but yeah, since Gary's been getting these spaces, there's been a lot of like excitement and a lot of hype, as well as some of the other projects other than V Friends, like Quirkies, like I was saying, Good Vibes Club. A lot of these people who are kind of getting really excited around NFTs again. To me, I feel like there's a real like vibe shift. Punks also up. Crypto punks today, or I think the floor a few weeks ago or like a week ago was that punks were at 72K floor, and now they're up at 100K floor again. We got that, and then just obviously an obvious kind of momentum shift on the timeline. Now, is that momentum shift that we're seeing enough to send NFTs into a bull run? I would say that what we need to see, I think NFTs are essentially, to put it simply, are a industry waiting for some type of mainstream catalyst to kind of validate them slash kind of send the asset class back into bullish conditions, right? We saw CryptoPunks and NFTs in general have two pumps and since 2024, maybe two or three pumps, right? Where Bored Apes, Pudgies, VFriends, some of these others went from where they were up 2, 3, 5, 10x, and each time they've fallen back down, and that's because they've been crypto only, NFT only announcements that only people in crypto care about. And once the hype dies down, so too does the floor price, right? The only way these NFTs I think are going to set into a bull run is if there's some type of big mainstream catalyst that kind of just really sparks both people on crypto Twitter and outside to really validate NFTs in their mind to why they should be like buying and investing money. It could be a number of things. Like there's literally 100 things that it could be. I think it's going to be it could be usually something with the tech, like Rolex or Nike or in PSA and sports card grading, or Tops and Fanatics, or I could go on. Could and will. It's just going to be who's first. Going to use the NFT technology, I think, to authenticate and verify their products, authenticate their products on the blockchain. For example, Rolex. There's a lot of fakes. Rolex fakes and watch fakes are getting very good, even in the RMs and the APs and the Rolexes, right? Really, now they have these papers. They have these certificates which can easily be faked. I think the perfect example of what I'm talking about, without going on too much of a tangent, everybody saw this viral ass clip with Trax NYC, where I'm glad I'm thinking about this. Trax NYC, obviously these guys, essentially he's claiming that they like made jewelry and said that it was him who made it. They had this fake certificate that said it was him, and the jewelry ended up being like way less gold and diamonds than they said it would. Now, you know how you could defend against that is if there was an NFT of that said jewelry. Every single piece of jewelry had an NFT on the blockchain where it could verify that's where it actually came from. There would be no way that this could happen and Trax could be like, defrauded or whatever if everybody required NFT, verification. And I think that's where the world's headed. And who's going to do it? Nike, Rolex, PSA, who's going to do it first? I don't know, but I think I could easily see that sending NFTs, if that were to happen, could send NFTs into a bull run. And then you obviously have the obvious ones with GTA. Like if GTA 6, I don't know, it depends who you ask, right? Some people say like, oh, it's going to happen. Some people are just like, it's a long shot. Obviously, there's no evidence of that. But let's just say if GTA gets ahead of everything and then integrates some type of digital NFT marketplace where every single item in the background was on blockchain, was an NFT, where people could sell for real money, right? Where you could essentially trade those in-game items for a GTA stablecoin, a Rockstar stablecoin, maybe something like that. Maybe a token, like a fungible token, but probably a stablecoin. And you're doing it on chain, and you could obviously cash that in for real money in USD, or you can just keep trading it without even knowing it's on the blockchain. Like if GTA were to do something like that, I think NFTs obviously would get sent back into a bull run. So I don't know. I think long term, I'm buying some digital art, but really the ones I'm buying are like the communities that are cool, the ones people I like and want to hang out with, but also essentially ones that I think long term could be big IPs and big communities and big intellectual properties. Um, so I think it's both of those things. It's obviously betting individually on the great teams and the communities, while understanding that NFTs as a whole, I think need some type of mainstream catalyst. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe and that's just usually how things go with crypto and all these different things. Is like the early believers will buy, and then as price goes up, there's some type of mainstream catalyst for meme coins in 2021. A good example that was Elon talking about Doge. Snap of the fingers. Everybody and their mom was like trading meme coins on BSC, and you know, Elon just happened to be the catalyst. I think meme coins need one of those. I don't know if it needs one of those, but I think that's probably the most likely scenario. And hopefully it comes in 2026. I think collectibles are obviously the biggest, the obvious one. Love the stream, bro. Yeah, let me do that giveaway here too. 4 a.m. here. Thank you for being here. Bring back the Hex PFP. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for being on, Kyle. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that giveaway here right now from somebody from the chat. Shout out to Smithy, Richard. See, Craig is my friend. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share a different screen. Let's go ahead and watch ETH here. ETH might be going back up. Yeah, it might not go back down here, guys, and the correction might be over. Oh, shit. Correction might be over, but I'm long as fuck right now, so. Let me go ahead and pick a winner for the giveaway. Right now we have 36, only 36. That's not bad chances. I'm sure some of you, yep, Kyle. Of course, Kyle spammed 5 comments. Thanks, Kyle. No, I'm just playing. All right. Winner is picked randomly. The homie Shake and Bake. Shake and Bake, remind me, I think I've seen you on the stream before, but if not, let me know if this is your first time. If not, how many times you've been on. I'm for sure recognize your profile. But congratulations. I'll go ahead and send you your USDC after the stream. I appreciate everybody for engaging on the post and or hopping on. I'll probably stay on for about 5 more minutes for a bit longer. But shout out to you, Shake and Bake. Congrats on the USDC. I'll send you that today after the stream. And yeah, like right now, especially, I it's been great doing the streams this last year, even when it was slow. Like I said, we've caught some nice gains, and some of these pretty much nailed most of the big coins during this period, but had some cool people on. We had Basement Ron, had a lot of my homies on, a lot of my friends on. But this year, I want to put a big emphasis, apart from the analysis and all that good stuff, featuring cool, friends of mine, as well as just interesting and cool people in the space. Really inspired by like what Thread Guy does, right? Obviously, I think Thread Guy, apart from whether you agree with all of his stuff, I think Thread Guy's cool. Super cool. It does a lot for the space. Like a normal guy, like a guy people would be interested in, like just watching stream more normal stuff. He's relatable, all that good stuff. But either way, even if you don't agree with everything he says, like I find myself sometimes disagreeing with certain shit he's saying, agree with a lot, but like my whole point is saying is like I think the reason why his stream is great, other than him, is he has the awesome people on, like from all of these different places. Like I think Bankless for me over the last 5 years, I've learned so much so fast because I watched all these bunch of these 2 hour podcasts with these founders and these experts and these long term traders and investors, and that's where all the nuggets are. So I mean, just I've been inspired by what Thread Guy's doing, and gonna have some cool people on this year. First off, on Friday, if you guys are still on here, by the way, shout out to you. Friday, FFV, homie FFV is gonna come on. He's been doing a lot of cool streaming recently too. I know a lot of you guys probably already know him. Um, one of the one of my favorite people on crypto Twitter. Just a nice mix of humor as well as a lot of good insights. Him and I agree on a lot of stuff. There's some stuff we have some maybe not some disagreements, but think about things a little bit differently as far as meme coins and a lot of the other stuff goes. So it's going to be a good conversation. So definitely, first of all, check out him, and then this next few weeks, I have my buddy Shams. I want to have Basement Ron back on. A lot of friends that I've been talking to, Craig, which we just saw a second ago. A lot of people that I already have lined up, and more that I've loved to get on. So if you're listening on this stream, you'd like to get on this stream yourself, or you have some good ideas and somebody would be a cool person to talk to, chop it up with, interview, pick their brain, please let me know either in the chat or in the DMs or wherever. Again, 2026 going to continue to do this streams. Right now, we're at Tuesdays and Fridays. I may add another day to that as the market picks up, but also doing Thursday Twitter Spaces with my buddy Hemdog. We're going to post the reminder today so that we have the streams and then Twitter Spaces where whoever can come up and chop it up and hang out. That's going to be Thursday. I think at around. I have to confirm with him, but later in the afternoon, my time. So I think maybe like around 5 p.m. or PST. So yeah, look out for that. If you guys have any suggestions or anything you'd like to see on the stream, anyways, you think can be improved. I remember Rojam, good buddy who's always in the streams, giving me a lot of good suggestions. But anybody else, I love doing the streaming stuff. It's been a nice addition. I think doing it for about 14 months now on X. I know I've been saying this for a bit, but I will be doing the face cam and stuff eventually. No reason not to dox. So doing that as well. But yeah, I'm really excited about this year. It's always a good time when the market turns around. It's kind of night and day as far as the vibes, the opportunities. But shout out to everybody, like I said, I can't say this enough, who stuck around. And there's most people really just ebb and flow with what the market does. They'll when the market's roaring, they'll come back and they'll be interested and they'll catch, maybe 50-60% of the upside. And then, they can completely tune out. But the people who stick around and actually buy coins if you have it, but most of all stick around and continue to learn and, continue to get pattern recognition and just stick around. Those are the people who tend to do very well when conditions are good. It's hard to do something there's so much going on like crypto when you're hot and cold, like when you're just stopped for 6 months and then it's hard to get on the ball. Shit changes so fast that shout out to whoever stuck around. And it's going to be exciting to see what everybody's able to do. I think crypto is going to enter a really crazy period of like adoption this time. And we have kind of everything on our side. Of course, things could change, but literally all the boxes are being checked right now. And I think that's going to contribute and lead to maybe the strongest run that crypto's ever seen in momentum and mainstream adoption, all that good stuff. So I'm excited to be here. Congrats, Sheik. Brand, can you check out Nothing? Yeah, my bad. Yo, Pablo, shout out to you for still being in here, man. Look at Nothing. I'm looking at Nothing right now, dude. You like that? All right. Yeah. That was a fucking dad joke for sure. Yo, okay, so I'm not gonna lie to you. When I see something like I know all the charts I've been looking at lately are just like essentially they're all lining up in bullish. Nothing. I don't think this is indicative of it like gonna tank or anything. But what do we see here? Nothing is pulling back pretty hard, right at an all-time high, um, which is an important decision point, right? What we want to see nothing do, and what it probably is going to do based on the rest of the market. I know nothing is a pretty solid coin. Um, is it's probably just going to fuck around here. It's probably going to reverse back to the upside here soon. You probably want to see it consolidate for a few days and then move back. The problem lies is if it keeps going down to like 2 million and it's just showing a bunch of red candles. But you want to see a momentum shift back to the upside here pretty soon because it has pulled back about 40% off the high already. So you want to see that momentum shift here soon, but I think that's probably what's going to happen. Thank you for being here, Pablo. Is your best bet on AI or memes for this run? Arsham, I think the answer to that question is going to be both. Yes. What am I more bullish on, or what am I focusing more so on, is the movement coins. I think the AI coins, as far as Tau, Render, these coins that have been around for several years that have AI infrastructure, that is all that stuff, I think it are good bets. Like that's probably a really good buy. I don't have a lot of those, coins that are at the big billion plus market caps like the Render and the all that 100 millions. As far as the AI agent stuff, now that we're seeing a lot of vibe code stuff coming, and there probably will be some AI coins that sprout out. Maybe there's a big mania. Where my focus is the stuff that I know and where I really believe in, where I think the world's headed with like online communities becoming big and movements, tokenized communities, all that stuff. So where I think movement coins are the best bang for your buck right now. The USDUC, USDC, obviously MOG, SPX, Giga, Bitcoin, ticker Bitcoin, Troll, all of those. And then the revenue coins, revenue flywheel coins, the Asters, Hyperliquids, Zora, Pump, and then Punkster, different stuff that has the flywheels, all that good stuff. So that's where I'm betting, but I do think both. I think the answer is both. So with that, guys, it's been 2 hours. 1,500 views on this at this point in the stream has been, it's solid. It's been a ton of engagement in the chat, or a lot of homies hanging out in the chat, typing in the chat. So fucking much appreciated. I'm really excited about not just the next year, but the next couple years. I think, I don't know what else to say other than the best is yet to come. I think that's completely obvious at this point, and the best advice I can give anybody is just to stick around, take care of yourself, get your health right, get yourself right. It's really easy to fucking slack off as far as sleep and eating and drinking water and all that shit during hard times. During bullish times where there's a bunch of coins all the fucking time coming out and shit. But get your shit right now. Get your sleep, get rested, and then continue those good habits. That's how you're gonna be able to make good decisions and stuff. So thanks, Space Faceless. Thank everybody in the chat. Thanks, Arsham. Thanks, Pablo, Miss D, Minhas, Ayo, Kyle, Protect Lethal, Space Faceless. I know, what's it called? Farmer Joe earlier was on 8:15. Big Belly. Gene, everybody, appreciate you guys for being on. Best is yet to come. I'll see you guys on Friday with my boy FFV at 11:30 a.m. PST. And with that, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.